Hi, folks. Thanks for choosing to listen to this episode. I just want to let you know before we get into it that I've done an overhaul on Patreon. So if you want to get early access to episodes, bonus episodes, and much more, head over there and sign up. Next week's episodes are already there waiting to be listened to. Okay, that's enough from me, so enjoy this episode. Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down, the greatest live shows and that cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
Hey, this is Eric.
Hello, this is Victoria from Aerolinea.
And you're listening to Concerts That Made Us.
Of you in my head, lost and where when love struck May's days. This is sweep of my feet, cannot sleep, cannot eat, cannot think, cannot see.
I count the days until I break through. I'm so nervous without you.
I count the nights
because I need you. I'm too nervous without you. Until I break through. I'm so nervous without you.
I count the nights because I need you.
I'm too nervous without you.
Victoria and Eric, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's great now. I'm looking forward to diving into your music over the next bit. Now, first off, Aerolinea recently released the single Nervous. It's a preview of your upcoming album, All We Need, which releases on November 28th. Take us deeper into the track if you can.
I think as far as going into the track, I think lyrically, we both wrote it. We really went back and forth. So any 3 words in a row, 2 of us wrote. And I think a little bit of it is capturing that feeling of uncertainty when you're away from somebody. In this case, a lot of it is with the band, because when you're collaborating across thousands of miles, you have to have a great deal of faith in your opposite half. But I think also, at least for myself, and Victoria can say it better than me, I'm sure, is that I think that when you miss somebody, yes, there's kind of a heartache and a longing, but there's also an uncertainty. You get a little bit scared. You get nervous. You wonder what's happening.
I think that we did very well because we wanted to express that sensation of being nervous. And so I think we managed very well to translate that emotion into the song with the chorus, and then also at the same time with the song, like getting rid of this feeling of nervousness with the song itself. I don't know if that makes sense what I saying.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and it was the last song we recorded, I think. No, it was the last one, or was What is Love?
What is Love was the last one.
That was the one before the last one. So it was
Yeah.
one of the last ones. So we were like very much working together, like we know each other much better, and it's beginning to get better and better, I think. So I like the song very much because of that, because it shows that the process of us working together worked out.
Also musically, I feel like that guitar part that you did at the end, that solo, really captured that sort of nervousness and release, because just I don't know how you do what you do. Mad respect for the way Victoria hears music. It's not like anybody else I've ever met. And so she can put a solo that'll make you nervous or happy or relieved or anything. And just,
Oh, thank
it's,
you.
it's magical.
I was actually going to mention the guitar part at the end. It's very chaotic. It really does kind of get the feeling of nervousness across. It's a bit unsettling almost.
I really, really enjoyed making that part. Really, it was like, wow, yeah, this is the moment.
Yeah, when you sent it over, I just listened to it and I thought, I hope she doesn't redo this, because this is what it needs.
Perfection. And, the album is out in a couple of days' time. What can listeners expect from the rest of it?
A lot of variety. I think we both listen to a lot of things that don't necessarily obviously add up. I mean, when we share playlists with each other, it's just everything from Bach to Billie Holiday to Rammstein. And in our minds, it all makes sense. But I think probably you have to have a pretty open mind to listen to the album. But I think it's very emotional. It's very much about feelings. It's very personal sounding. But how would you describe the music, Victoria?
I don't know. I think it's very emotional. It's like, to me, it's like very quiet and very nice, actually, and like, yes, kind of romantic it can be, or something like that. Some songs are also the lyrics said a lot about the songs. One of the songs is called All We Need, and and all talks about topics of things that happens to us emotionally and how we deal with that, like nervousness, also with love. What is love? Like it's a question of to the universe. What is love? And a lot of things shows up, things that humans feels and has that doubts or uncertainty about life. I never have expectations about what people is going to react or not. I have faith when I like what I do and when I enjoy the process, and when the process itself, the creative process itself, shows me that there is something going on, and so I trust the process. And then it's not mine or us anymore. It's going to be for the world, and then we are going to go to next step. After that, it's like a process. It's a full process. So I hope people like it and enjoy it as well as we did, because we really enjoy it to make this work. So that's very positive, and I think this is going to bring a good result.
I think it's the album we sort of had to make. We felt like we didn't really have a choice, because we would joke even early on that I don't know where this music's coming from. We're both just working for Aerolinea now, because it doesn't really sound like anything either of us have done in the past. But at the same time, we would send just sound ideas and files back and forth, and we almost never would tell the other, no, I don't like that. We would just say, yeah, that sounds like Aerolinea.
But I think we were very inspired.
Yeah.
It was easy. It was really easy. I said to you yesterday, we did a lot of work, but it was alone. It made itself, it's like we didn't did any effort. If you look back, you say, oh, this is a lot of work, but we didn't realize all the work that we did, because we had a lot of fun and we really enjoy it. So it was like really easy to do it because we were really inspired. And also because I think like Eric and myself, I used to write alone and do everything alone and figure out everything alone. So it was a really relief to work with someone and to have similar tastes and things, like, yes, I like that. Yes, me too. And it was easy on that way.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it. When you guys came up with the idea of doing an album, how close is the finished version? Was there much evolution within the album along the way?
There was a lot in a couple of specific songs. There was one where actually I feel, and I don't know, you might disagree, Victoria, that for one song called Dreamer, I thought that Victoria's first demo sounded great. But there are a few little things that we both agreed, well, let's try this, because it really was just throwing down some things into a demo. And I very slightly knew a drummer named Kelly Scott. I'd met him a long time ago and knew he did studio work. He's most famous for a band called Failure, but he's played with everybody in the world. And so we sent it to Kelly to play drums, and he emailed back, yeah, I really like this. I want to try something different, if that's okay. I want to try something that kind of goes with the melody. Okay, sure. So he put it down, and I think we both listened to what he did, and we're just scratching our heads. It's just, well, this was not what I expected. But it changed it radically. But I almost feel like maybe he got a little jolt of Aerolinea as well, because after a few listens, we thought, this actually is really cool. I never would have come up with this. So some things happen, but then there are a few others that one or the other of us would demo most of it. And like that afternoon, okay, the song's finished. Okay, there it is.
Not too bad. Not too bad. And with you guys being based so far apart, what kind of challenges did pop up along the way? Anything you can share with us?
It's a miracle. I think it's like what happened. This album is completely a miracle, because if you think with anybody else to get agree and to be, and also different cultures and my English is not wow, and so it's really a miracle. I don't know. I think it's something that needs to happen because it happens. I don't understand. I can't explain it because it sounds very very, very difficult. I don't know how and why we understand each other. I think musically, I think it's the music that is making this connection and it's making everything easy.
The first rehearsal in person was interesting because we met as close as we could to halfway in Miami. And it was really funny because I packed my car full of PA gear and driven for 2 days to get down there and set up in this little Airbnb I got. And I mean, we met for the first time in person. It's like, okay, who are you exactly? You sound like this
That was
person.
very quiet moment.
That was a very strange moment. But I think and then at the first rehearsal, I think we were both a little bit nervous. Like I started singing some of your parts and I couldn't understand why you were looking at me that way. But I think like the second time we went through the songs, it felt pretty good. We just share a lot of files back and forth. We use similar gear in our home studios so that things sounded compatible enough.
Also, we have a lot of experience as alone, working alone. That makes things easier, very easier.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few technical things, just transferring files and stuff, but that wasn't that bad. And we have different ways of playing our instruments and different ways of singing so that we never really got in each other's lanes, so to speak.
I getcha. And, the history of Aerolinea, it can be traced back to a chance meeting at a music festival. Am I right? Can you share that story with us?
Sort of. During COVID, we both played at a virtual festival, which, you tell people about that now, and if they weren't paying attention, they just said, "Are you kidding?" It's like, no, it's this thing where everybody would Zoom in and play music festivals. And somehow I think I kept getting Instagrams from this Victoria Real person and didn't really look or listen. And then one day, I guess it was when your new album came out, but I listened to what she was doing and I thought, whoa, that's different. I thought it was going to be somebody strumming gentle folk songs, and it was just fierce and strange. And so I just dashed off a quick message and I said, just heard your music. We both played at this festival. I really enjoy what you're doing. Keep it up. And she replied like 30 minutes later, and we exchanged a few messages back and forth. And I swear, like the third thing we said was, we should try to collaborate on something. And sure, why not? And I think the next day I sent her a few ideas. And the very day after that, she sent me back a complete song. And it sounded great. She'd added things that I never would have imagined. And we sort of thought, wait, do we have a band? Yeah, I guess so.
Oh man, that's crazy. I love stories like that though, that a chance meeting, like one simple little thing. If one of you guys hadn't showed up for the Zoom call, Aerolinea wouldn't exist,
I know I suppose whether you believe in some sort of a fate or master plan, or whether you believe in simply taking advantage of coincidences, I suppose either way you get to the same place. But it progressed really quickly. I think I remember we first started talking in March of 23, maybe April of 23. And 3 months later, we had most of the album mapped out and most of the tracks done, which for people who hadn't even met face to face was surprising.
Yeah, very, very. Oh man. And your individual history as well is very, it's very unique. Victoria was tutored by Robert Fripp, and you yourself, you've released 5 albums and an EP with I Am a Rocketship, and you were the bassist for Anne Richmond Boston. Tell us a bit more about your own history.
I've generally been more of a gun for hire, I suppose. than somebody who's really stuck with a particular band. Backing up a lot of singer-songwriters, but at the same time, occasionally getting a few people together and writing and playing either bass or guitar or singing for my own projects. And it's just been fun. I'm not all that fussy about whom I play with. I've played in bands that bordered on metal or punk, singer-songwriter sorts of things, Americana, country. But just as Miles Davis, I think, once said, there are two kinds of music, good music and the other kind. And as long as it's the good kind, I'm happy to be in on it. And with I Am a Rocket Ship, it was just a load of fun. It was where I really sort of learned my way around recording a little bit better. And I'm glad I learned that much before we started on Aerolinea, because I made lots of mistakes early on.
Well, I went to Europe when I was very, very young, like looking for something like my way, something to say, like something like that. So, and I found that school, the Robert School, and I really fall in love with that school, and I've been doing guitar craft courses for 10 years and still have some contact with them. And it was just very amazing because he gave me tools, not only, I mean, he works the art and the musician and the person at the same time. And I think there is no separation between who we are or what we are and what we do. So everything matters. And he really, really teach me about how to see the world in a way that for me was less dangerous or less panic or less, I don't know. It's like he teach me how to live, something like that, through the music and through the discipline that we learn on that school. So I really found out my way, and I'm still working with that principles, and it's my guide in life. And it has very much to do with knowing yourself, but in a real way, not only the personality, also inside yourself, where we have all the treasure inside.
I like it.
Something like that.
And before we move on to some concert-related questions, I have to ask, now that the album is out in a couple of days, are you guys the type that you'll take a break, or are you already working on album number 2?
We're already working on it. We've got 2 song ideas in the works, and we know the title, and I think we have an idea of the mood and the feel for it. No, we're not taking a break.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Also, we are going to perform in South America a lot. So, but actually for the first time, really, because whenever we came to Argentina, we did very few rehearsals and we played a live session, but we didn't perform for people. So now in January is going to be the first time we're going to do like a kind of a South American tour and playing in Buenos Aires, Santiago de Chile, and Rio de Janeiro. And that's going to be fun, and it's going to really it's going to be a new experience for us as a band.
Man, exciting times ahead. Exciting times. Nice segue into the next set of questions. It's called Concerts That Made Us, so we have to speak about concerts. First off, as concert goers, what concerts would you say have made you?
I can think of 2 that were really very, very memorable for different reasons. The first was kind of a strange one, but I went to see a pianist, Katya Bunyatishvili. She's Georgian, French virtuoso, and she was playing a concert of just Beethoven piano sonatas, which I happen to love, and she played them very capably, very good concert. And so she went off stage and came back for the encore. Didn't know what the encore was. She started playing, And it turned out later, I found out it was a Schubert impromptu I'd never heard. And a minute into it, I found myself just uncontrollably weeping, like just tears streaming down my face and hardly able to breathe. The music hit me in a way that I cannot describe. I just was reduced to a mess, and that's never happened to me before. And so I made it through the end of the performance and walked out, and I just thought, I don't know what happened there, but something she did hit something mysterious in me. And I suppose the other that really stuck out, maybe because it was so recent, a few weeks ago, I saw a Mexican band called Descartes Acant. I really love them. They're sort of like, if you would imagine if Annie Clark and her band were performing the music of Captain Beefheart. It's hard to describe, but they were so crazy and energetic and synchronized and matching costumes and lights and a computer that was the fifth member of the band. It was just so over the top that it was just joyous that they just didn't hold back. They weren't trying to be cool. They were just completely bonkers. And I guess I just really like emotional performances, emotional concerts.
Sounds like they sound like two excellent shows, man.
I think that very much in guitar craft courses, like very minimalistic circulations and things with music, really, really, really touch me. But the concerts are commercial concerts or normal concerts. I can mention two. In 2003, King Crimson in The Power to Believe was performing in Barcelona. And that was, wow, very, very, it's my favorite album from King Crimson. The Power to Believe, I really think is awesome. And the other one, it was in 2002 with David Bowie. I went to see him. He was on Hidden tour, his album Hidden in Paris. I was living in Paris in that moment. And wow, that was also really, really amazing. I really, it was like the best concert I can remember, both of them.
I'd love to have seen David Bowie. That would be unbelievable.
I slept in the street to get the ticket.
I'm not surprised.
I was very young.
Oh man.
We
man.
brought a bed, like, I know how to say this, these beds, like, but never mind.
And, your own shows, for any of people that will be at the shows in January, what can they expect? Give us the ideal vision of one of your shows.
I know how I would love, I don't know what the venues will be like. We've got it booked, but I've never been to them. But I think of our music as being almost like late night, intimate, smoky little whiskey bar with the audience very close and us very close to the audience, and sort of hushed but intense at the same time. I mean, I've listened to some of your podcast episodes, and I'd mentioned that there was one guest that's like, wow, they sound like so much fun. Very different from us. I think we're more like cuddling up with a glass of absinthe and contemplating life, and not so much a party. So yeah, that's how I imagine it.
I don't know. I never imagined that. I always imagine what I'm going to do, and I like to be very theatrical in performing. Like, I don't know, like almost like acting while playing and singing. So I don't care. This is what Robert says. I really believe on that, and it happens. A performance is made by the performers and the audience, and both, the combination of both, made the show. I mean, a good show depends also in a good audience, in a good quality of listeners, in a good quality of performers, and also a good day for the performers. So it's like it's like making anything. It's a process. So we work for the process. We are ready to perform. We were going to be ready. We are going to be very with the best spirit we have. And then the outside, where the audience is coming, is like, I don't know, it's like hazard and or not. Maybe the vibrations meet and we made a really good event. A really good musical event is very rarely, it's not something like happens a lot, but it happens between the combination of both of us. So I hope we are lucky. I know a venue in Brazil, in Rio, because I played there with my own project. And I know that it's a very good place and the audience is good. And I don't really know the other places. In Buenos Aires, I know one of the places, and it depends on the night. We can have a good night audience or or also depends on us. So it's like a combination. Hope we are lucky.
We will be very well rehearsed, I can tell you that.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. And before we dive into the last couple of questions, then, future plans. We've heard about the gigs. The album is out in a couple of days. Is there anything else you can share with us?
I think we want to play live as often as possible. I don't know how often that is when you live in different countries, but we both sort of have built our lives around being flexible enough to do this. So we'll do what we can. And just hope that the muse that we call Aerolinea keeps talking to us.
I like it. I like it. We'll dive into the last couple. So, first off, besides music and the band, what are you guys obsessed with?
Obsessed. That's a scary word. I really like being outdoors. I'm an avid cyclist. I used to race mountain bikes pretty seriously, and still, any chance I get, I try to get outdoors. In the mountains, going down a river, snowboarding, you name it. I just want to be outside. And it's not very rock and roll, but to do that, I also just have to stay healthy. So I try to eat really well. And it's so boring, and get enough sleep. It's really not rock and roll at all. But just with really enjoying life, the positive things about life. Maybe I'm obsessed with positivity.
I really, very similar to Eric, I need a lot of time for myself, a lot, infinite time. I like to think that I have all the time of the world. There is no for whatever, even if I'm waking up or getting dressed, whatever. I need that feeling. This is what I like. This is how I like to live. I remember an interview that Björk made to Arvo Pärt, which I really love, Arvo Pärt. And he said that he needed time, a lot of time. And I really feel like I touch with that because I'm that kind of person. I like to feel the feeling of having time to everything, to this moment, to every moment in my life. It's not drinking rock and roll and whiskey. No, neither. Which I like a little bit too.
This is good whiskey. That's why we have to come to, that's why we have to come to Ireland, because let's face it, Ireland does have the best whiskey.
True. And the final question, one for you, Eric, specifically. I heard you have a story about Dublin and music. Can you share with us?
It's very brief, but I really loved it, and it sort of added to my affection for Dublin. I was there years ago and joined one of those free walking tours, and the guide was very knowledgeable, very friendly, very funny, just wonderful man. We were walking along somewhere, and you probably know where this is, and he says that this is the club that hosted the first gig by the best band Ireland has ever produced. And he said, you know who that is, of course. There's silence, and a little American voice in the background says, you too? The guy wheels around fiercely and says, wrong answer, Thin Lizzy. And I just thought, I love this man.
Oh man, I love it. Listen, guys, this has been fantastic now. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a great
you.
evening.
Thank you.
It's just too close for me to stay, and I go where you never go. It's just too close for me to stay, too close, too close.
What moves you so soon? You're so far away. To be true, you say that you'll never stay. Too close, it's all too close for comfort. But freedom has its price, I guess.
What sends you to fly where I never go, to break through and be more than I can know? Too close, it's all too close for comfort. But freedom has its price, I guess. What heals you so you can survive the days, to feel new, to be brave, to see you as you turn to fly away. I need you. Will you stay? I need you. Will you stay and fly away? And fly
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.